Donald Trump claims that we're doing really well on our tariff policy. Yeah, it's going so well for America, our biggest trading partners are starting to hang out without us. Maybe they just lost our number or something. This is just another day. It's been a wild week. Thanks to Tariff-palooza, Trump single-handedly dragged the global economy into the upside down. He rattled investors, stoked fears among everyday Americans, then inexplicably hit pause on the tariffs that he swore he would never pause. Which is odd because...
Promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises.
But, whatever. The thing I like about this administration is that while they may not be great at economic policy or obeying court orders or tackling the most urgent matters, at least they understand how to reflect the mood of the country.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday? We are a week into the worst market downturn since the Great Depression. Caroline Leavitt would be the flight attendant still passing out peanuts on the Hindenburg. In what world is this a happy Friday? Please, do tell.
In more excellent economic news that was released yesterday, the Consumer Price Index report showed inflation fell to 2.4% in March, smashing expectations for the second straight month in a row. This marked the first drop in consumer prices dating all the way back to the COVID pandemic. Prescription drug prices saw the largest monthly decline on record. Prices for airfare, used vehicles, and car insurance all decreased as well. And energy prices fell 2.4% in March, driven by plummeting gas prices around the country.
Wow, very impressive. Except for that pesky little detail that all of those statistics are from March. You know, pre-Liberation Day? You might as well put out a mission accomplished banner to prove that we've won the war on the economy. But what I, and apparently the rest of the world, are missing is that now is not the time for questions or analysis. It clearly is the time for gratitude.
And I just want to give the president and his trade team credit for taking this on. This is a massive undertaking. There's no doubt about it. We take it very seriously. The president is determined to renegotiate global trade on behalf of American workers. And again, you've seen people on both sides of the aisles calling for this for years, but I think no other president lacked the courage or maybe the work ethic or the stamina to take on such a task.
That's right. If April 2nd was deemed Liberation Day, from this day forward, April 11th shall be known as Where the Hell is Your Appreciation Day?
We finally have someone in the White House saying enough is enough. And it happens to be the guy who authored The Art of the Deal. I'm going to peg my money on the guy authoring The Art of the Deal.
And a thank you given to Elon Musk.
How about a thank you for the transparency that he and the Doge team have put out there? You can go onto the website right now. They've got a live tracker for Doge, and it shows dollar per dollar how much they have saved the American taxpayer. That is you, America. This is volunteer work being done by the world's richest man. And instead of getting a thank you, his employees are getting attacked. There's about 119,000 of them. Vehicles are being attacked. Dealerships are being torched. And he is being completely open and honest with all the work that they are doing. In fact, that entire team is a bunch of very wealthy people that could be, I don't know, sitting on an island they bought instead of trying to help the American economy, come back.
First of all, 60% of Americans would love it if Elon and the rest of his Doge team went island shopping tomorrow. And I know that because of a recent poll cited on Republicans' favorite network.
Meanwhile, a new Quinnipiac poll is revealing how Americans feel about Elon Musk's Doge cuts. This is really, really interesting. 60% say they don't approve of how the agency is dealing with federal workers.
But when it comes to Trump, I think the reason for the withholding of the thank you cards is because his masterful art of the deal tactics don't seem to be working.
President Xi Jinping on Friday urged the EU to join China in defending globalization and opposing unilateral acts of bullying. That was a clear swipe at renewed US tariffs under President Donald Trump. The comments, Xi's first publicly since Trump's tariff move, are also a sign of how Beijing is looking to mend its straining relationship with the EU to weather the trade war with the US.
Yep, Trump went all bouncer at a nightclub with one of our biggest trading partners, telling China they couldn't come into our awesome party unless they paid an insane cover charge, and China was all, screw that, I'll just go kick it with the EU across the street. And the EU was happy to have him because the same bouncer has also been telling the EU that their house belongs to him, which is not good bouncer etiquette if you want people to come into your party. So what is happening here? If the brilliant negotiating strategy by king of the deal makers was to shore up American supremacy and isolate China by imposing ridiculously steep tariffs, then why did he also impose across-the-board tariffs on the rest of the world, especially our allies?
That was the whole idea, supposedly, behind this trade agreement, was to get everybody in Asia and us and it's like 12 countries against China, isolate them. But now I don't know if we have friends anymore.
Exactly. Trump pledged to make America first, and we are first in line. Problem is, there's no one behind us. Even if, by some miracle, these tariffs prove to be slightly beneficial for the United States, which numerous economists say they won't, there's a separate cost to being erratic with our trade policy, and that is the world doesn't trust you anymore.
Why would any of our allies work with us to isolate China in a trade war if we're treating friend and foe alike?
You'll have to talk to our allies who are reaching out to us. The phones are ringing off of the hooks.
Right, I forgot. The phones have been ringing off the hooks. And remind me, who is it that's been incessantly calling?
And what about the deals? We want to see deals. We want to see win after win after win. We want to see countries coming into the White House signing deals. When will that happen? And which countries?
Well, I'm not going to name the countries yet.
Got it. You're not on TV to provide insight or clarity during times of economic turmoil, more of a trust us kind of thing. But by imposing tariffs, pausing tariffs, not to mention flaunting the beautiful mind level equation that he definitely did not use to come up with these tariffs, Trump has diminished the reliability and credibility of the United States by creating the one thing that the economy hates more than anything else, instability. And the worst part about all of this, dude's celebrating.
Why is he optimistic that China's going to make a deal or wants to make a deal if they're not talking? Where's that optimism come from?
He's optimistic.
Because he said so? Somebody celebrating after getting their asses handed to them isn't the sign of a strong leader, it is the sign of a sociopath. Trump's like that guy biting his metal, popping the champagne, telling the rest of the world to fuck off, all after coming in third place. If Trump wants to cruise around in a golf cart posting delusional messages about how well everything is going, all while Americans experience a rise in costs, layoffs, and overall anxiety, then on this inaugural Gratitude Day, let me be the first to say, thanks a fucking lot. Before you go, first, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we're now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they're willing to cater to this White House. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a great way for me to be able to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's completely free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support my work. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.